want to start with kind of a bluish green color. So if you have a bluish green color, and so I'm kind of thinking with my chart that I might want to go, somewhere with teal, but maybe a medium blue, or I've got over here, I could go probably with a peppermint light green and maybe just add a little bit of blue to it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get my brush, my watercolor brush, and get a little bit of water on it. And I'll just go to my palette here and take a little bit of my, let's take a little bit of my teal and put it in here. And then I think I'm going to add a little bit of my peppermint green. We'll see how that turns out. I may want to darken it a little bit. I'm kind of feeling like it needs to be a little bit darker. So I think I'm going to go with a little bit of my navy. There we go. I'm getting a little bit of darker blue in there. So you may have to mix some colors up. If it's not dark enough, add maybe a little bit of black to it. If you want to dull it a little bit more, you can add some of its complements. So I've got some kind of navy in there. And I'm going to go with a little bit more, maybe a little bit more green that I can add to it. And I might go just with a little bit of purple, So notice how I'm like mixing my colors kind of separate so that I can kind of grab certain colors. And if I have to, I just put them in these little bins here, a little bit different bin. So I've got a little bit of purple, I've got a little bit of blue, I've got a little bit of blue-green, and I'm kind of separating these. Okay, and I'll add just a little bit of water. I'll add a little water to these too. So I'm kind of just mixing these up into different areas, just like that. And so I can get the colors I want to get. Okay. So I think I'm going to go with a little purple to start. And what I want to do is I just want to make sure that I'm going to start with the sky. But before I do that, I need to get the whole thing wet. And so I can do that, maybe get the sponge brush here and put water on the whole thing. And that kind of works pretty well. You guys might have one of these at home too. And it seems to work pretty well. I brought this brush in here too, but I don't know that it's going to work very well. But this sponge one seems to work pretty well. So here, take this one. It's real good. Okay, so I've got that under control here. And I want to start with my painting by painting my sky. And I'm just going to put a little bit of color in the sky and try to make kind of a cloudy day. And so I'm going to start in the top left-hand corner and put a little bit of color in there. I might have gone a little bit dark, but I can just slowly work it out into the water. And I'm trying to just create, a little cloudy blue clouds up in the sky. Got some areas that are real white. I got some that are a little bit darker, and I'm trying to create just a little bit of clouds here. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to create like a line of trees in the distance. And I'm going to start with kind of my teal color and maybe add a little bit of blue if I think I need it. And I'm going to start by creating just a line of trees that kind of go across my paper. And I'm just going to let them slowly fade out until nothing. So they're all the way just like gone. Kind of fade into the haze. I'm going to darken it up just a little bit with a little bit of blue in here. And I'm going to try to darken it up over here a little bit more. And I'm just trying to get like a very light a line of trees there. Again, a little bit darker up at the top, and I might have a little bit watery. And that's something that I think we're still just trying to figure out now. How watery should it be? You know, how opaque should my trees be? And I still haven't grasped that yet. So as I learn how to do it, I'll tell you as soon as I know something. Because we're all learning here. We don't know how it's going to go. Okay, put a little bit dark in here, but I'm not sure I like that darkness in there. If I don't, I'm going to get the towel. I'm going to wipe it off. See how I just kind of wiped it off? I guess that's one good thing about watercolor. You can kind of do that. Well, I kind of like this. It's a little bit darker than I had before. I think more towards the top might be good. Okay, at the bottom, I want to just let it kind of work into the white and just let it fade out in the white. So I'm going to try to take a little bit of water on the bottom and just kind of blend it out a little bit so that it's real subtle on the bottom. It slowly blends in. It's very, very subtle. So I'm just using a little bit of water to kind of pull this out. And then again, if you feel like you got too much on there, take a clean paper towel or a tissue or something and just kind of blot it a little bit. And then you can kind of come back and touch it up a little. Okay. So I'm going to go a little bit more color on mine down here at the bottom. I think I might have got it a little bit dark on the color. And I kind of feel like I need some like more opaque colors up here. I'm getting really, really washed out. So I'm just going to try to add some right here, a little bit more opaque. And I feel like I'm kind of losing my trees along here. It's like it's not quite enough. So I'm just adding some here, and I'm getting less water. I'm trying to go with less water here. So it's a little bit more opaque. I'm trying to vary this so it kind of looks like a tree line. And so there we go. I mean, I think this is better. Again, it's still a matter, I think it's a matter of just experience. As we get better at this, we might be able to do a little bit better job of getting what we want, the look we want. Because I feel like a lot of times I'm not getting the look I want. I do it and then it's not quite right. And I might have to add more color to it later. Okay. So trying to add just a little bit more opaqueness right here. So a little bit more paint. And okay, I want to do a second line of trees. In this second line of trees, I want to be a little darker. So I want to make sure that I have lots of pigment and a little less water. And I want to go a little bit darker than I had before. So I'm going to go with the second line here, and I'm not going to go quite up to the top there where my bottom stops. I'm going to leave a little bit of haze there. And I've got it more opaque this time. And I don't know if it's more opaque because my water's kind of dried up on my paper or what the difference is. It's definitely more opaque, but at the bottom, again, I want to let it blend out slowly. So I want to try to not get it too dark on the bottom. So I'm going to continue painting here and let it kind of slowly fade out. And I can add a little bit more color here if I need to, since I got my thing is so opaque. My color so opaque, I might be able to just add some more here. Make this a little darker if I need to. And this right here, I just want to slowly blend out. And again, if it's getting it's still too opaque, then add a little water to it and see if you can kind of blend it out, especially on the bottom. So I added a little bit water to it. I'm going to see how this does. I need to blend this out on the bottom some. And I'm going to try to pull it down with just some water, some clean water. But I want to slowly let it fade out. And again, if you get a situation where it just doesn't blend out, take a little bit of paper towel or Kleenex or paper tissue or whatever you have and see if you can just blot it down on the bottom. Like blot it a little bit and see if you can get it to just lighten up a little bit. Not so opaque on the bottom. And so that's right here. I just blotted it and I think this helps. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and continue working on this. And remember that we're just learning here, so if it's not perfect, I'm sure it will be fine. I'm sure we'll be okay, no matter what. And I'm going to darken it a little bit here, I think. Try to darken it. And add just a little bit of black to this. So I'm looking for some color variation here in my trees. I want to make these a little bit darker. I really want to make them darker than the ones behind it. These are supposed to be a little bit more, a little more atmosphere. And these here should be darker. And I'm trying to add just a little bit more black to it. Try to just darken these up a little bit. The next thing I want to do is I want to paint some trees down at the bottom. And to do this, I may have to switch brushes. Now I have this kind of big brush here. It's a big soft brush. I thought I might try a different brush. And I know that all of you guys don't have different brushes. And if you don't, just try to make sure you got a nice tip like on the end of it here. And that might help, But I was thinking that down here, what I want to do is I want to kind of make some trees. And I thought I would start by just drawing some of the trunks. And I want to keep it fairly opaque, my lines. So, I'm thinking that I want some opaque tree lines in here, varying, distances apart and varying sizes. And you can just try some things and just see what looks good. Maybe something bigger on here, I don't know. And so I've just taken a little bit of water and put it in my paint. And I'm trying just to use the tip of my brush. I'm not I'm not really going, crazy on this. And I'm going to try to draw like some little limbs out here on my tree. More time than I thought, honestly. Trying to go as fast as I can and do, justice, but you have to be careful. Just throw a whole bunch of paint down. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. Trying to make some where I'm showing like some behind others. And I think that's really important because you want to show, a three-dimensional effect. You don't want it to look like they're all in a single line, a single row. You want to make it look like there's some depth to it. And one way you can do that is you can use overlapping. So overlapping of the different trees, will make them look like there's a dimension to it. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a little bit of overlapping. Trying to make some a little bit bigger than others. Vary them to make it more natural looking. And again, I'm trying to make it kind of dark down at the bottom. I want it to be pretty opaque down here. And again, trying to create like the illusion of depth. Okay. 15. Okay, so we're getting to the point here where we need to probably stop. There's more I really intended to do, but what we'll do is we'll stop and I'll see what we can do later to work on it some. So let's see here.